Conference, the third edition of the African Women in Media Conference and Festival. So I have to say a big thank you to Yemisi for allowing me to bore you with my voice for 3 days. But it's been a great 3 days of panels where we've learned so much, workshops. We've had some great keynote speeches that truly opened our minds, that challenged us. I think today Lola really challenged us to take those frightening decisions. And I'd love to give a warm round of applause to all the panelists, all the moderators, all the trainers, and our keynote speakers, Dr. Dorothy Njoroge, Biola Alabi, and of course, Lola Omolola. Please give them a warm round of applause. Because I think it's something amazing to be able to not only learn, but to be able to share that skill with other women. It's very powerful. And so we're so thankful that you did that. Now, this conference and festival would not have been possible without the support of some very key organizations that have shown their zeal in supporting conversations and projects around women. And we don't take that for granted. So I'd love to say a huge thank you, and you can join me in clapping as well, for the African Union, who have really been at the forefront in making sure this conference sees a light of day. And because it's something that's dear to all of our hearts, we really, really do appreciate you. I'd also love to thank, obviously in conjunction with the AU, GIZ and IOM for giving life to the stories that were pitched at the pitch zone. So patiently sitting there and listening to young, old, diverse people coming through and pitching stories that they're so passionate about. I think that was really wonderful of you guys to do. And of course, for later on tonight, being behind some of the awards we're going to be giving. So we needed to make a lot of noise about the African Women in Media Conference. And we're loud, but it sometimes helps to have some media behind us, right? And so I'd love to thank Royal Media, Standard Media, Metropole TV, who of course, Terry Ann Chebet was even on a panel and just transferred her knowledge as well. Free Press Unlimited, and we also need to acknowledge CNN, BBC, VOA. Thank you so much for standing by us and amplifying our message. Now we have the delegates, who I was going to save for last, because where would we be without the delegates, right? But there are some organizations that decided that it was not only important to back the conference, but to make sure that there were African women in attendance. So if they couldn't get there, the organizations made sure they did. So I want to say a big thank you to OSEA, Interrupter Africa, and the African Union again for making sure that there are delegates who managed to attend and learn from this conference. We had Google News Initiative as well, who did help in terms of the workshops. And last but not least, you and I, for being here, whether in the capacity of a delegate, a speaker on a panel, training in a workshop. We would not be here without you. So we do not take your attendance for granted. So I think you need to give each and every one of you, clap the hardest for yourselves. Now, every single morning, I've been telling you right before the keynote speeches, that if there's, yes, I have been challenged by almost everyone I've interacted with, which is a good thing. But the first person to challenge me was the co-founder and the CEO of the African Women in Media Conference. Challenged me because I met her and her sister, and they say they started this together. And I told you guys the story. I did write in my sister's WhatsApp group to ask, so as what are we creating? It's going to impact other women. But we would not be here without them, and this is the third edition. So I want you to give a warm round of applause to Dr. Yemisi Akinbobola for trusting us to be part of the safe space that she's created, for creating the space with her sister Dele as well, and for seeing it through to the 3rd edition, which is no easy feat. Please give her a warm round of applause. As I said, I don't want to bore you with my voice, so I'd love Dr. Yemisi to come on stage and just share a few words with us.
Thank you very much. Honorable Deputy Governor, Her Excellency Majala Lagui of Taita Taveta, thank you for being among us. And I also acknowledge the apologies of the Kenyan Director for Public Prosecution who really wanted to be here today. Distinguished guests, friends and colleagues, thank you for an amazing 3 days and welcome to the IOM 19 Award Dinner. It's going to be a fabulous evening, and I'm sure you're very eager to hear who are the winners of the awards, and as am I. This is an important part of the conference and festival because we set up the pitch zone as a way to put into practice the things we're talking about by empowering you. In the first year, we had 1 media organization there at the pitch zone, no award. In the second year, we had 2 awards, and this year, thanks to GIZ, the German Development Agency, and the International Organization for Migration for supporting us with 5 awards this year. Could you please put your hand together for them? And the panel has been really impressed with the quality of the pitches that they've been hearing over the last 3 days. And they would have loved to do nothing more than to support all of your ideas, but we only have 5 awards. And later on after dinner, we're going to be hearing who are the winners of those awards. So without much further ado, we're going to have dinner, entertainment, and after entertainment, we're going to hear who are the winners of this year's IOM Awards. Thank you.
So we want to make sure that the food is completely well. We're going to give it 5 more minutes to keep cooking. Don't worry, if your tummy rumbles, it's fine. This is a safe space, all right? I think we need to hear from an organization that really was the backbone of bringing the 3rd African Women in Media Conference to light. And I'd love to call up the African Union Director of Information and Communication, Leslie Richer, onto stage, just to share some words with us.
Good evening. Excellency Deputy Governor, Majala Mlagui, representatives from the IOM and the GIZ, Dr. Yemisi Akimbobola, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. I was not planning to make a speech today. So what I wanted to say is thank you to all of you for turning up for the 3-day annual conference on IOM. It was a pleasure to meet all of you. And for the African Union, it's very important that we create the type of platforms that are going to bring women, and especially women in the media, to not just to make sure that the narrative of the continent is well heard, but it is heard loudly and it's understood. This is the time for us to make sure that as we speak to ourselves and as we speak to the world, that we send a clear message that Africa is on the rise. We are the people who are driving that change, and make no mistake that the women in this continent are going to lead the charge, and we're going to work, of course, with our male partners to make sure that that happens. Dr. Yemisi, thank you for bringing us all here today. This is a wonderful endeavor. We celebrate you. We celebrate the journalists in this room today. We have had a wonderful time, and I wish you all the best in your endeavors, and I wish you all a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We're also very honored to be in the presence of the Deputy Governor of Taita Taveta. Those of you who are not from Kenya, she's come a long way to be with us in Nairobi. Her name is Majala Mlagui, and I want you to give her a warm round of applause for not only being a key woman in such a key position of leadership but by honoring us with her presence and support today.
Good evening. I am so truly honored to be here. First of all, congratulations to everyone for getting my name right. That is usually a feat in itself. My name is Majala Mlagui, and I'm the Deputy Governor of a county in Kenya called Taita Taveta. We have 47 counties, and we're in the coastal region, and we're also known as the hidden treasure of Kenya. We're a beautiful county. I represent that proudly. I'm truly honored to be here, not because of the opulence that is in this room, but in the past month, I've gotten to even more deeply appreciate the beauty that is the African woman. At the beginning of the month, I was in Marrakesh for a Women in Africa Summit, and that was an astounding event that brought together very many women from the continent celebrating the successes of development through women activities and empowerment within the continent. And now that I'm here, Dr. Yemisi, this is a true honor. Thank you very much for the consideration for me to be in this event, and I'm really, really excited about what we can do as African women coming together. I welcome you to Kenya as the government official, of course, and I hope that the last week has been, a fantastic experience for all of you, both professionally and personally, and in the networks that you've had, the discussions that you've furthered, and the plans that you have to go forward with work in the media and in development in Africa. And I know with the key sponsor, the African Union, we keep on being asked, what is the Africa we want? And with the audacious women that I see here, I'm sure that the Africa we shall have in 2063 will be a fantastic one. And I think we need to have a round of applause for all of us. I know a number of you may be saying, Googling maybe, my name and asking, who is she? The media has a very key role to play in some of my possibly popularity. The media at one point said that I was one of the youngest deputy governors in the country. We are only 8 women out of 47, so that in itself is recognition, but they said I was the youngest and gave me the age of 26. I'm not entirely 26. But the media played an important role in shaping the narrative that I now come forth with, that I'm able to stand forth and stand strong as a young African woman who's looking to use my education for the development of not only the urban but rural woman in Kenya and in the rest of Africa. And I think that if we hold our hands together in this room, there's a lot that we can do. Women politicians don't necessarily have the easiest time as individuals in our countries, and the media has a lot to do with that. So I'm hoping that in the last 3 days you've had good conversations about how you can support us as women in politics, women looking to leadership roles, both in media and in corporate and public office, and how we can then change that narrative of women do not have the capacity. Women are not able to hold these positions because, it's a patriarchal world. I think there's a lot in your hands that we are depending on you for, and I'm hoping and I believe that we shall be seeing a lot of change in the next few years. So congratulations again, Dr. Yemisi, for holding this in Kenya, one of the jewels of Africa, and I look forward to being able to interact with all of you, and I would not be able to leave this stage without saying welcome to Taita Taveta. We are 350 kilometers from Nairobi by road, 4 hours by the standard gauge railway, and 2 hours from Mombasa if you decide to fly to Mombasa, which has beautiful beaches. And we have a great community that is looking to be able to expand into the rest of Africa. So welcome and enjoy your dinner, enjoy the evening, and enjoy Kenya. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And who knows, maybe we'll have an edition of African Women in Media in Taita Taveta. Why not, right? So ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break so that we can have some food, keep on making our friends, and then a little later, we will get to award 5 people with some amazing, amazing, amazing awards later on in the evening. But right now, enjoy your dinner, keep making friends, and let's keep the networking and the conversations we've had over the past 3 days going. Thank you.
Oh, Todi, what shall we do?
What shall we do?
What shall we do?
What shall we do?
Oh, Todi, what shall we do?
What shall we do?
What shall we do? What shall we do? What shall we do? What shall we do? What shall we do? What shall we do? la 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 la
say you like wahala. I got wahala, baby, pana. Anywhere that you go, I go follow you to go, baby, pana. You say you like cassava, I got big cassava, baby, pana. My love for you will never die, will never die. If I ever, oh baby, if I ever, baby you're too sweet to follow. Oh baby, don't sit to the love. I could take you to Coca-Cola. If I ever, oh baby, if I ever, baby you're too sweet to follow. Oh baby, don't sit to the love. I could take you to Coca-Cola. So love is so beautiful thing. Girl, they cool my temper. Love is so wonderful, tender feeling. It'll give me ginger. So baby, dance it, dance it, dance it. Baby, to eat and dance to give me love, oh. Make me give the love, the life, oh. For the sake of love, for your sake, I will really show your love like you never seen before. For love, give me love. Now you dey catch my shot. For your sake, I go church. Yeah. We go drive around there for my passion. Baby, say you like wahala. I got wahala, baby, pana. Anywhere that you go, I go follow you to go, baby, pana. They say you like cassava, I got big cassava, baby, pana. My love for you never die, never die. If I ever, oh baby, baby, baby you're too sweet to follow. Oh baby, don't sit to the love. Make her take you to the Canada. If I ever, oh baby, baby, baby you're too sweet to follow. Oh baby, don't sit to the love. Make her take you to the Canada. On your cha, you see, you have taken my life, oh. I cannot understand how I'm feeling. You are my woman for sure. On your mind, you see, you know my God is you. Oh, yeah. Baby, I go let you go. I will always be your lover. For your sake, I go kill it, show your love like you never seen before. For like you give me love. Now you dey catch my shot. For your sake, I go church. Hey. We go drive around there for my passion. Baby, man, you say you like wahala. Hey, I got wahala, baby, man. Anywhere that you go, I go follow you to go, baby, man. You say you like cassava, I got big cassava, baby, man. My love for you will never die, never die. If I ever, oh baby, baby, you're too sweet to follow. Oh baby, dance to the love. Make her take you to the party. If I ever, oh baby, 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 you're too sweet to follow. Oh baby, dance to the love. Make her take you to the party. Yeah. Say you like wahala, yeah, I got wahala, baby, pana. Anywhere that you go, I go follow you to go, baby, pana. They say you like cassava, I got big cassava, baby, pana. My love for you will never die, never die. If I ever, oh baby, baby, baby you're too sweet to follow. But baby don't sweet to the lagwada. Oh baby I take you to the balada. If I ever, oh baby, baby, baby you're too sweet to follow. Oh baby don't sweet to the lagwada. I make her take you to the balada. If I ever, oh baby, baby, baby you're too sweet to follow. Oh baby don't sweet to the lagwada. Make her take you to the balada. If I ever, oh baby, 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 you're too sweet to follow. My baby, don't sit too till the web. Make it take it to. On the table, do me fast, make it fast, and let me touch now. You come over instead of a competition, may test me, and trust me, I give it a chance. In my hands, put them on my jukebox, and then we'll start to dance. Sing it like you know I want your love. Your love is hungry for somebody like me. Come on, follow my lead. I may be crazy, don't let me shake me. Let's not talk too much. Grab on my waist and put that body on me. Come on, follow my lead. Come on, follow my lead. I'm in love with the shape of you. You got your cool like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with the body. Last night you were in my room, and all my blushes smell like you. Every day's happening, something burning. I'm in love with your body. Love with your body. I'm in love with your body. I'm in love with your body. Everybody's having something burning. I'm in love with the shape. One weekend, the lights started begin. They going out on my first date. You and me all thrifty, single one can fill up the bag and fill up the plate. We took the hours and hours about the streets, and I saw what how your family's doing okay. Get in the taxi, just in the backseat of the bed to make the radio play. So you're like, oh, I want your love. Your love is hungry for somebody like me. Come on, follow my lead. I may be crazy, come on, you say, boy, let's not talk too much. Grab on my waist and put that body on me. Come on, follow my lead. Come on, follow my lead, baby. I'm in love with your body. Push it through like a magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body. Last night you were in my room, and all my passions smell like you. Every day discovering something better. Love with your body. I'm in love with your body. I'm in love with your body. I'm in love with your body. Discovering something better. I'm in love with your shape. Come on, be my baby, come on. 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 Come on, be my baby, baby, baby. Come on, be my baby, come on. Come on, be my baby, come on. Come on, be my baby, baby. a thunder. You're driving me insane. You mess with my medulla, and I go let you go in vain. But if I do it now forever, emergency, emergency, you never see me coming through. Emergency, emergency, you never see me coming. Emergency, emergency, you never see me coming through. Emergency, emergency, you never see me coming. Baby, come to the floor. Baby, come to the floor. Baby, show to the floor. Baby, show to the floor. Baby, come to the floor. Baby, come to the floor. Baby, show to the floor. Baby, show to the floor. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Baby, tell me what to do. Cause I've been there since the 2. And you're looking all confused. I got it what to do. Yo, yo. Digo tu what vario. Hoy gira morifeo. She bum vario. Emergency, emergency, you'll never see me coming through. Emergency, emergency, you'll never see me coming through. Emergency, emergency, you'll never see me coming through. Emergency, emergency, you'll never see me coming. Baby, come to the floor. Baby, come to the floor. Baby, show to the floor. Baby, show to the floor. Baby, come to the floor. Baby, come to the floor. Baby, show to the floor. Baby, show to the floor. Baby, come to the floor. Baby, come to the floor. Baby, show to the floor. Baby, show to the floor. Baby, come to the floor. Baby, come to the floor. Baby, show to the floor. Baby, show to the floor. cha msingi. Dekakiretie lamsenilibe inagoibane chini pingana ikuandikia barua. Dekakiretie lamsenilibe inagoibane chini pingana ikuandikia barua.
Special dedication, Deputy Governor. This is for you.
Wadavida damuno muwa mwasida isia tekomana edi manyaga inyocha muzimi. Wadavida damuno muwa mwasida isia tekomana edi manyaga inyocha muzimi. Dekakiretie lamsenilibe inagoibane chini pingana ikuandikia barua. Dekakiretie lamsenilibe inagoibane chini pingana ikuandikia barua. Kisokote, 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 Chibebe, oh Chibebe, bebe, oh Chibebe, oh Chibebe, oh Chibebe, oh Chibebe, Kisokote, Kisokote, Kisokote. Ulisema mimi sina pesa, ulisema mimi sina gari, ukatoroka kenda peke yako. Sasa wanakwambia mama, leo mtoto wako siwezi mwana, mama, leo mtoto wako siwezi mwana, mama, leo mtoto wako siwezi mwana, mama, leo mtoto wako siwezi mwana. Ache, ache, oya. Ulisema mimi sina shamba, ukasema mimi sina hela, ukatoroka kenda peke yako. Sasa wanakwambia hunkuna mama, leo mtoto wako siwezi mwana, mama, leo mtoto wako siwezi mwana, mama, leo mtoto wako siwezi mwana, mama, leo mtoto wako siwezi mwana. Shilingi ya ngara yawa, shilingi ya ngara, shilingi ya ngara yawa, shilingi ya ngara,
Shilingi ya ngara yawa, shilingi ya ngara, shilingi ya ngara yawa,
shilingi ya ngara yawa.
shilingi ya ngara yawa, shilingi ya ngara, shilingi ya ngara yawa, shilingi ya ngara, shilingi ya ngara yawa, shilingi ya ngara yawa, shilingi ya ngara yawa, shilingi ya ngara yawa. Ukitaka moja kwenda aro aro, ukitaka mbele kwenda aro aro, ukitaka aro aro, ukitaka nene aro aro.
Break it down. Africa Women in Media. Good evening.
Utakata.
Okay, quickly for the non-Kenyans, Karibu Kenya. This is a special one in this country. There's a certain tribe down there in the coast that is famous for a certain dance that accompanies such music. Instead of me showing you, so that it is even more interesting, our women parts.
All right.
Our chiki chiki boom boom. Yeah? And this is how it's done.
All right.
1, 2, 1, 2, 2.
Kata, kata,
Kata,
kata, kata,
kata,
kata usiogope,
kata,
kata usiogope,
kata,
I have seen the people who are not flexible. Shall we not embarrass our continent?
Hey, no.
Shall we not? Shall we not? Let's try it again. Give it up for Blavian.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Kata, kata,
Kata.
kata usiogo.
Kata.
Kata, kata,
Kata.
kata usiogo.
Kata.
Kata usiogo.
Kata.
Hold on, Mr. Wang.
Kata.
Ladies, now kata means you take round your waist, you wind your waist, okay? You wind your waist. You don't just stand and with your phone and camera up in the air. No, you don't do that. You have to wind your waist, okay? So we go, kata kata, we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Kata kata
Kata.
kata kata
Kata.
kata mwanangu kata
Kata.
kata usiogope
Kata.
kata chako mwenyewe
Kata.
wala si cha kwazima
Kata.
kata kata
Kata.
kata kata kata
Kata.
kata kata
Kata.
kata kata. Now we go down, okay? Yo, paka chini, paka chini, paka chini, paka chini, paka chini, paka chini, paka chini. People are not going down. People are not going down. Paka chini, paka chini, paka chini, paka chini, paka chini, paka chini. Turn the Jew, 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 turn the Jew.
This is for the beautiful ladies in the house. Nimekuchagua wewe, nikupende mama, sitaki mwingine. Ashi usiniache, usinitende mama, usipende mwingine. Jua wangu ni mwepesi, umenikalia chapati, nafanya vituko kama chizi, ukupenda sitasizi. Jua wangu ni mwepesi, umenikalia chapati, nafanya vituko kama chizi. Kama pivo, sura yako mzuri mama, mzuri mama, mzuri mama. Tabasamu lako mama, mzuri mama.
You have to show them to do that dance. You have to show them to show
Yes.
that. Just show them how to dance that.
Yeah, there are some few Kenyans here who understand the dance. So,
Okay.
for those who don't know, I'm gonna teach you. All right, it's so simple. Eh?
1.
Sura yako mzuri mama, go right, mama, mzuri. Go round and round.
Sura yako mzuri mama, mzuri mama,
Left,
mzuri
left.
mama,
Go round, go
mzuri
round.
mama.
Tabasamu lako
maua,
mzuri
mama, mama. All right.
Let's do this. Come
Start
on.
from top.
Ili nikulinde, nikutunze, mama. Sanayo nikuvishe, nikuoe, mama. Usiende popote. Come on. Moyo wangu ushakubali, umenikalia chapati, nitakula. Itabidi nikumari, moyo wangu ushakubali, umenikalia chapati, nitakula. You remember that song, right? Come on. Sura yako mzuri mama, mzuri mama, mzuri mama, mzuri mama. Tabasamu lako maua, mzuri mama, mzuri mama, mzuri mama. Mapigo yako kama ya chupa.
Mola kama ua. Muzuri mama, muzuri mama, muzuri mama. Mapigo yako kama ya chupa. Mama, muzuri mama, muzuri mama. Sawa sawa kama ua. Muzuri mama, muzuri mama, muzuri mama. Come on. Do we have people from Nigeria? Do we have people from Nigeria? She know I'm designer, she know I'm Ferrari. She said I'm a lover, you belong to me and I belong to her. Oh baby, you go kill somebody. This a love is fine, but I didn't see it for your eyes, oh. Not for your eyes, oh. This a love is fine, but I didn't see it for your eyes, oh. Oh, 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 oh. Not for your eyes, oh. She first started, she did do like Ronaldo, my sweetie forever, Eminado. She like my song, la favorite is my pavillon, she's a pavillon, and I like what they see. Emergency, baby, you just emergency. Baby, you just emergency. When I need is emergency. I am the all I dance. 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 Nobody can.
atomeme unakuja. Unapenda vitu vya unapenda dezo we bana we yatakushinda. Taneka wanacheza vizuri. Unapenda vitu vya unapenda dezo we bana we yatakushinda. Kushinda. Wewe mtoto wa kike wacha mbea, wewe mtoto wa kike wacha mbea, wewe mtoto wa kiume wacha mbea, wewe mtoto wa kike wacha mbea.
Suleiman.
order to realize the benefits of the free trade and investment that the regime brings. There is need to support strong entrepreneurial ecosystems, especially for women SMEs and startups, through avenues such as easy access to financing, non-fiscal support instruments such as incubators, accelerators, and the like. Most importantly, there is need to share information in easily accessible platforms that educate and guide trade and investments. And that is your role, ladies. Thank you. And I have the honor to present the award to Zara Tunda. Zara, your pitch was wonderful. It was a pleasure.
DJ B Skills. This is DJ B Skills.
Thank you. We are waiting to hear the voices of women in free trade and investment.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Zahara. You can literally see the surprise, the joy, the excitement. And I had the honor of interacting with her a little bit. I'm pretty sure she's going to do an amazing job. Congratulations. One down, 4 to go. It could be you. So next up, to tell us a bit more about the Silencing the Guns Award and what really that stands for and why women's voices are important in there. Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to award the next individual who pitched their story for the Silencing the Guns Award. So before we know who wins, we need to know a bit more about it. And I'd love you to give a warm round of applause to Oriatu Danfaka, whose name I've been repeating the entire afternoon. My entire household knows your name now. And she is a senior policy officer in the Bureau of the Chairperson. And she's going to tell us a bit more about this award and present it as well.
Thank you, Program Director. African women, hoye. African women in the media, hoye. Now, after this dancing, I need to arrange everything here. Things have been moving a little bit. Program Director, Honorable Deputy Governor, Madam Majula Lagwe, and please tell me that I got that right. Madam Leslie Richter, Sister Wayne from the AU Commission, Dr. Yemisi, distinguished media professionals from all over Africa, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Now I have to give you a formal speech because you'll be disappointed. I mean, you have Wayne, who is coming from the private sector. She's direct, she's just let's go for it. And we have this young and wonderful dynamic Honorable Deputy Governor. But you have us who are in between. We have to give you a formal speech. You will not go disappointed tonight. So thank you for the opportunity to address this conference of African women in Media 2019, to talk about an important issue that is impeding Africa's development. In fact, I could say without fear of being contradicted here, because you know as media professional the issue better than I do. conflict in various shapes and forms, insecurity and terrorism are the biggest challenges to Africa's development agenda. This is why the policy organs of the African Union came up with an initiative, a flagship project within the framework of Agenda 2063, which is silencing the gun in Africa by 2020. Some might say, is it viable? Is it attainable? And in fact, this very question was asked by a young journalist who is here tonight, who came to our pitching session today. Well, one thing is clear to that effect. The AU Commission, through the leadership of Musa Faki Mohamed, have put in place policies. The AU have developed clear strategies and concrete steps which are being implemented under the guidance of Commissioner Shergi and High Representative Lamara. Without spelling out or going into details of those elements, because time may not allow, and I don't think after this session you really want to hear all of that, I would like to highlight key elements of the silencing the gun strategy that are of relevance to us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, that's you as African women. Because the realization of the Africa we want, an effort toward peace and security, cannot be attained without the meaningful participation and leadership of women. You, as professionals of the media, women in the media, your role in disseminating and giving visibility to the issue is important, but also the media plays a significant role in perpetuating and challenging social norms that condone discrimination or violence against women. The media can objectify women, but also showcase strong women leaders and protagonists who can become role models for their audience. And here, allow me to recognize, again, Madam Leslie. I know she's not actually expecting this, but you know, we were once attending a workshop, I think it was in Dubai. And very simply, I think you might have noticed that I kind of do something with my tongue when I speak. It doesn't stop me from speaking, but I always have it on my mind. And when I brought it up, Leslie told me, Uriatu, I thought, and we all thought, this was because you are a Francophone, this was a sexy way of just saying things in English. You know, she didn't think she had done much that day, but it really liberated me. So thank you, Leslie. I wanted to recognize you among your peers and in your country here in Kenya. Thank you very much. So a key element of silencing the gun strategy is to leverage and capitalize on partnership. Partnership with civil society organizations and networks such as yours, but also establish very important strategic partnerships with multilateral organizations and countries. And here, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the government of the Federal Republic of Germany, who continue to support the Africa peace and security agenda through silencing the gun initiative, but many others, such as the African Women Leaders Network. Tonight, owing to their support through GIZ, we are presenting the Silence the Gun Award, and we received more than 20 pitches from all over Africa, all great qualities, and believe me, it's just not to be correct politically, but they were all great. Showing different perspective of the issue. We are happy that the topic generated so much interest among women, and specifically women journalists. We encourage all of you who have pitched to continue with the development of these wonderful ideas. The story we picked stands out from the others because it presents two perspectives when it comes to the role of women in conflict in Africa, the positive and negative roles of women. It is well established that women are victims, and they can play also key roles in resolving the issues. That has been well established, and that's what resolutions like 1325, the UN resolution, advocate for. But what is not well known is that more and more women are actors. They are perpetrators of conflicts in Africa. That side we don't know much of. So these stories must be told if we want to tackle the issue and come up with a sustainable solution. So that is why the why and how to resolve these issues was actually well said in the story that tonight we pitch. We made our choices because of the pertinence of the storyline, the approach that we found very practical given the resources that are on hand. So, thanks again to the organizers for hosting us in this beautiful city of Nairobi, in this beautiful hotel, and congratulations to the winner, and to all of you out there who are daring to talk and take action toward achieving a peaceful Africa. So without further ado, I would like to call on Leslie Richard to come up here, to call on Wayne to come up here, to call on GIZ to come up here, to call on Dr. to come up here, because, like I said, a key element of silencing the gun is partnership. We cannot silence the gun in Africa without partnership. So this is not an AU, this is a collaborative effort. So I want all of us to hand the Silencing the Gun Award to Mary Muandwa.
Is that my name?
Yeah, come here. Come. Mary, come, get your award, you deserve it.
Sorry, repeat
Okay.
the same.
We are all giving it to you. Yeah. Yes.
Eyes on the camera. Smile. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mary. I actually don't think before she sits down, I would love to call up on Wayne Musabayana. She is the African Union Head of Communications, and she's going to present the award for the free movement of persons.
Thank you very much, Adele. Good evening, colleagues from the media, colleagues from communications, our keyboard warriors, as Leslie said in our meeting. Thank you for being here. As has been introduced, my name is Wayne Musabayana, and I just want to start by asking a question. Is there anyone here who has had, in order to come here, to get out of Africa, in order to come back into Africa? Do we have anyone with that experience? I see one hand there. Yes. And this is the essence of the award that I'm going to be presenting today. Let me just give you a very brief outline of what the program means. Removing restrictions on Africans' ability to travel, to work, and live within their own continent by transforming restrictive laws and promoting visa-free travel to enhance movement of all African citizens in all the African countries. And we have 55 of those African countries. The free movement of persons, capital, goods, and services will provide integration, Pan-Africanism, enhance science, technology, education, research, and foster tourism, facilitate intra-African trade and investment, increase remittances within Africa, promote mobility of labor, create employment, improve the standards of living of African people, and facilitate the mobilization and utilization of the human and material resources of Africa in order to achieve self-reliance and development. So the winner of this award has all this to deal with. This is a huge project, and it'll take a lot, but we all have faith that this will be done, and after a few months, we will be able to celebrate the publication of that story, whether it be in print or in broadcast or on social media, in whatever format. So, without much further ado, let me call on the winner. Do we have somebody to do the drum roll? Thank you, thank you. Let me call on the winner of the Free Movement of People in Africa Award, supported by the International Organization of Migration, which is a UN agency, but which we work very closely with as the African Union in achieving the aims and objectives of Agenda 2063. And that winner is Carlton Scovia. Come along. Oh, wow. Come, come, come. Well done. Well done. Well done. Are you in print, broadcasting, social media?
Broadcast.
Broadcasting which organization?
BBS TV. Which one? BBS TV.
Where is it based?
Uganda.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. We are really looking forward to seeing your production. So it is my honor to give you this award. I have to use my right hand for this.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Those who are good in math, are you keeping count? How many more to go? Good. So I'm the only one who failed math. Okay. So we have two awards to give out. And I'd love to call on the African Union Director of Information and Communication, Leslie Richer, to do the honors of awarding the next two awards. We're going to be awarding the Free Trade and Migration and Women and Free Trade.
Good evening again. I know as we draw to the end of the evening, you all want to get back to the dancing, but I'll use this opportunity to say a few things. First of all, I'm really pleased to be presenting this award in my home country. But most importantly, when we talk about the African Continental Free Trade Area, Kenya was one of the first countries to ratify the Free Trade Area along with Ghana. So it was also an honor for Kenya in terms of the African Continental Free Trade Area. It's very important to note that the African Continental Free Trade Area, along with the African Passport and Free Movement of Persons, which Wayne alluded to, as well as the Single African Air Transport Market, are very key initiatives of Agenda 2063 that aim at promoting integration of the continent and economic development. And it's very important that we not just know about these flagship projects, but also educate ourselves about how they're going to impact us. Wayne gave a very good example around traveling on the continent. You know, we cannot have to travel outside of the continent to go to a neighboring country. We need to make sure that our airspace is liberated so that Africans can move freely and affordably across the continent. We need to have a continent in which, as an African, you should be able to live, work, and reside anywhere on the continent. We need to take those barriers down. And initiatives such as the African Passport and Free Movement of Persons are going to help that. And the African Continental Free Trade Area, don't forget, Africa has created, in terms of the region, a regional trading bloc, the largest in terms of membership in the world. A trading bloc that is going to make sure that we can start playing our role in the global economy. And this is very important because intra-African trade is very low. In fact, it's ridiculous. We've got so many barriers to trade. The impossibility of moving goods and services across the region has made it impossible for our countries to develop. So it's very important that as Africans, we now start looking inward in terms of developing this continent, using our resources for the benefit of the people of this continent, and making sure that we change the narrative so that people understand Africa is on the move and on the rise. Now, it was also very important that, I know we did not mention it, but in July 2019, in terms of the African Continental Free Trade Area, my colleague talked about working for the Secretariat. So Ghana is going to host the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area, and this was decided in July. And also in July, we launched the operational instruments of the African Continental Free Trade Area. What does that mean? The African Continental Free Trade Area is going to have clearly defined rules of origin. And this is very important because as we open our borders to be able to trade with each other, you do not want somebody taking products from outside the continent, slapping a label on them saying made internally and then selling it to another country within the continent. We need to promote industrialization through manufacturing on this continent, and this is very important. And of course, Oriatu spoke about women in peace and security. In our communities, women play a key role in promoting and resolving conflict in our communities, whether it's at a local level, at a national level, and even at the continental level. A few days ago, I talked about an initiative that we are rolling out in conjunction with the United Nations, the commemorative book on women in peace and security in Africa. And so I encourage all of you to make sure that you submit your nominations. We need to start celebrating the women on this continent who have played their part in promoting peace and security. And before I go on to the word, I think it's very important that we celebrate women who are taking the task, taking up the challenge to make sure that in terms of policy making, they're at the forefront. A lot of the times we say we want change, but change does not happen from the outside. You have to be part of the change. You can either decide to be seated at the table or be on the table as what's going to be eaten. So, the reason I'm saying this is because, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very young lady, deputy governor. I'll ask her to stand up so that you can look at her again. Deputy governor. Do you realize how important that role is? Okay. She has made a decision. Thank you very much. She has made a decision that I am done talking. I'm not going to be an armchair activist on my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, making noise. I'm going to go there and I'm going to make change where the decisions are made. Okay. So I encourage a lot of you who are in this, in this industry to be the change makers. We need to start honoring women who are doing things that are making sure that our society is changing in the direction that we want it to. Let us celebrate these women. Let us honor them. Let us give them the space so that they can be heard. Let us not get drowned with the noise around us. Let's make sure that we create a platform for women to be celebrated, to be honored, and there's a very important role that the media has to play in this particular aspect. Okay, I have an award to give. I believe it's the first one. Yes. And this is the award for Free Trade Migration Award, supported by our partners, the German corporation, GIZ, thank you very much. And this award goes to one very innovative person who gave a very, 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 I don't know the words, but I think when we see her final product, we're going to understand why she's winning this award. Miss Christabel Ligami. Come Did she not come for the event? Christabel.
Christabel.
Cheu, uko wapi? ¿Dónde estás? I don't know which other language to speak in. She's from which country so that I can see if I know her language. Christabel, tafadhali. She's not in the room. Okay, was she here? Okay, maybe she's gone to the ladies. So let's award the next award. Ah, excellent. Women and Free Trade Award, also supported by GIZ. Thank you very much. Ms. Vincentia Foucault. So I don't know what we will do about our other nominee or award winner. We'll probably, is there somebody who can accept on her behalf? Who? And you'd better have ID. And we are live streaming, so we'll be able to find you should you disappear with the award. Who? Come. I will ask you to introduce yourself.
My name is Faith Onea. I work for Nation Media. I'm an editor and writer. So I sit on 3rd floor. She sits on 4th floor. So it will get to her.
Thank you.
So I have one last request as we congratulate all the winners today. If they could all come to the stage so we can get a group picture of all of them. All the winners, please come. Ladies and gentlemen, give them all a warm round of applause, please. And take note of their faces, because when you see, read, or watch their stories, you'll know it all began here at the African Women in Media Conference. Just wait, let us have the CEO and co-founder, Dr. Yemisi, with you. So many cameras, which one to look at? But I assure you, you all look stunning. Give them one last round of applause. So we have unfortunately come to the end of our program. I know. What will we do with ourselves for the next few days? Well, one way that you can still keep in touch with what AWIM is doing is make sure you sign up for the newsletter at africawomeninmedia.com and join the safe space that they have created on Facebook. Look for African Women in the Media. And do take the survey at awim19.africanwomeninmedia.com as we await for the next African Women in Media Conference. I don't know if you remembered, there was one of the days Dr. Yemisi gave us a bit of a hint that she'd be telling us where we're going to be gathering next year. Do you remember? And I think she thinks we've forgotten, eh? Should she come on stage and just remind us so we can hold her to it?
All right. So who wants to guess where AWIM 2020 Summit is going to be? You know, okay. We've been to West Africa already. Okay, that's very true. And so last year we're in Nigeria. This year we're in Kenya. And so I'm pleased to announce that AWIM 2020 Summit will be in Johannesburg, South Africa. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you all there. And please do subscribe to the newsletter so that you can hear updates about our activities and when the event is going to start. Thank you. Is that right?
Yes. Thank you so much, Dr. Yemisi. And thank you once again to your sister, #SisterGoals, creating all of this.
How very rude of me. I did not pull all this off all by myself. It took a team of hardworking, dedicated women. I'll first of all like to thank my sister, Dele Ogunlaye. Where are you? Where is she? Hiding at the back. Dele is my sister and co-founder of AWIM. She likes to stay in the background, but she's the one that does all the hard work in the background. So please, Dele, stand up and let everybody clap for you. I'd also like to thank Dottie. Where's Dottie? Dottie, right there, stand up. Dottie is our events manager. Her company is called Next Gen Marketing. They're a Nairobi-based events management company, and they're the ones that have made all the magic happen. So thank you very much, Dottie. Thank you also to my colleague, Philip Young, who came all the way from Birmingham City University so that he can support me here. He's an expert in PR and media relations, so thank you very much, Philip. To all our ushers, and I know we had technical problems, but the technicians also tried. So to all our ushers and technicians, thank you very much. To all our sponsors, to all our speakers who inspired us, who skilled us up, who educated us, who demonstrated that they are the leading voices in their industry. Thank you very much. Without you, this event would not have been where it is. Thank you. Thank you to all our moderators and to all those who stayed right to the very end. Thank you again, and I'll see you next year. Adele. And of course, Adele. Oh my God. The beautiful Adele, our MC. Thank you so much. You were an amazing MC. You've been a pleasure to work with, and I look forward to working with you again.
Thank you so much. So now it's time to make merry. Keep getting to know each other. It's the last night. We've come a long way. We've put in so much hard work that we deserve one night of fun. So you can start enjoying your night now.
Aya twende tetema, oh mama tetema, tipo tipo tetema, oh mama tetema. Aya twende tetema, oh mama tetema, shuka chini tetema, oh mama tetema. Tetema, yani kama umepigwa shoti.